This Morning. I'm Sarah Colvin, and joining me now live in studio are Interim Superintendent of Schools, Bill Butler. Bill, good morning.
Good morning, Sarah.
How are you today?
I'm fine. You?
I'm doing well.
Good.
So we were just talking with the Assistant Town Manager about water testing, and that's the first item on our list of things to cover today is water testing in the schools.
It is. As you know, there have been a number of concerns about lead in the water supply in schools around the Commonwealth, and we've applied for a grant from the state to provide technical assistance and analysis sampling. But in the meantime, we've, in cooperation with the water districts in town, we've arranged to sample the water supply at random water fountains in all of our schools. That process has been completed. The samples have gone to the county health department, and they'll analyze them and get back to us with the results in perhaps a week or two.
Sure.
So I think that will, if there are problems, we'll at least know about it. If there aren't, I think it will reassure the public.
Great. And are we concerned that there may be some lead in there, or is this more of a kind of a reaction to a more broader base?
I think it's a reaction to problems elsewhere. We don't know that we have any problems at all. Our buildings don't have lead piping in them, so far as we know. So I think it's more in terms of reassuring people that the drinking water is safe.
Great. Well, always better safe than sorry.
That's right. Absolutely.
We like that. So,
Absolutely.
So you said the results will be back in a week or so.
In a week or so. Yep.
Great. So we'll be able to after the Memorial Day holiday find out what's going on there.
That's right.
So BCHMCPS, Barnstable Community Horace Mann Charter Public School, is looking for a principal.
They are looking for a principal, and their board of trustees interviewed 3 candidates last Monday night. Lisa Whalen, who's currently a 3rd grade teacher at the school, Sheila Kukstas, who's currently an elementary principal in Milton and a former assistant superintendent in the Archdiocese of Boston, and Dan Atwell, who's currently an assistant principal in Falmouth. And after the interviews, they chose 2 finalists, Sheila Kukstas and Dan Atwell, Meg Mayo Brown and I will interview both of the finalists, and then the board will make its final selection and submit it to me for approval.
Great.
So I think they're aiming to make their selection and announce it within the next week or 2.
Great. And then will that new principal start at the beginning of the fiscal year or at the beginning of the school year?
I would think it would be as close to the beginning of the fiscal year as possible. I don't know what kind of notice requirements they may have in terms of leaving their current position, but I think the board would like them to start sooner rather than later.
Absolutely, and of course, Meg Mayo Brown will be starting very soon as well.
She will, and I met with her last week and reviewed the principal search process, and she would like to participate, as she certainly should, since she'll be the superintendent when this individual becomes the principal.
Absolutely. So looking forward to that. School start time, again, something that certainly has had a conversation on the national stage, and I know several months ago a committee was organized to kind of analyze that here.
Right. At my recommendation, the school committee appointed an advisory committee to study the school start times. The advisory committees met a couple of times, and they've issued a concept statement seeking feedback from the school community, and their working concept right now is to simply flip the high school with the intermediate school and Barnstable United Elementary School, the 4-5 school, so that BUE and BIS would start at 7:20 in the morning, the high school would start at 8:20 in the morning, and the K-3 elementary schools would start at 9:10. This would have a minimal impact on transportation, and transportation is a significant factor in changing the start time.
Absolutely.
If we simply push all the schools to a later start time, it becomes problematic.
Exactly, and you want to
So-
make sure that all those buses are coordinated, and that you don't either have to add buses or
Right,
take away buses.
right.
Certainly very complicated. So many different students going back and forth. So, how much of a shift is this recommended time from what time does school currently start?
It really just flips the high school with the intermediate school and the 4-5 school. Right now, the high school starts at 7:20 in the morning.
Yeah.
It would start at 8:20, which is when BUES and BIS currently start,
Sure.
approximately. And it really would just be a flip.
Great.
I've sent the concept statement to all of the employees in the district and encouraged them to give feedback to the advisory committee. And I think after they get that feedback, the advisory committee will go out to the wider community and solicit feedback. I think the hope is to have a plan in place for the start of the 2017-2018 school year.
Right, makes sense. Seems like there's still too much work left to do for that to be in September.
Right.
Getting everybody on board for sure. So last topic, the central office leadership team bi-weekly meeting. Tell me a little bit about that.
This is similar to the town manager's senior manager meeting. We meet twice a month, and at the last meeting last Friday, we reviewed the water testing issue. We started planning for the dedication of the Enoch Cobb Early Learning Center playground, which is funded in part by a generous grant from the Barnstable Disability Commission.
Wonderful.
And we're aiming for early June for that dedication.
Wonderful.
We reviewed the requirement for school employees to be fingerprinted, which is a requirement of state law that was enacted 2 or 3 years ago. And the state has given school districts time to phase in, but the time is now at the end.
Right.
So we have 75 employees who have yet to be fingerprinted, and we're going to work with them and ensure that they get taken care of.
Sure.
And then finally, we talked about implementing our new reading program. Meg Mail Brown was in the district on Friday, and she and Kristen Harmon met with representatives from the publisher and principals and reading teachers to talk about what supplementary materials they may need and that sort of thing. So I think we're making good progress.
Great.
Toward the reading program.
Wonderful. Reading so important.
It is, and if students can't read, everything else becomes very difficult.
Absolutely, and thinking about, kids learn at different levels and they read at different levels, so certainly a challenge for teachers to make sure that they're connecting with all of the students and that everybody has the tools they need.
It is.
To be good readers.
It is.
Great. Well, Bill, thank you so much for stopping by this Monday morning, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks because it's Memorial Day next Monday.
That's right. Well, thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. I'm Bill Butler, of course, is our interim superintendent of schools. Going to send you out again to look at Osterville, and we'll be back with the news here on BTM.